This evening, the forensic audits have been completed, but to what end? Just a waste of money? Teenagers accused of murdering Mars faced magistrate this morning. Maikoni teenager in critical condition after delivering father's child. Pastor returns to Ghana to bring help and hope to the homeless. In the region, the Royal St. Lucia Police Force has reported a decrease in crime for the first quarter of this year. And internationally, live streaming life events has become a commonplace occurrence, but one man in Florida has experienced the unusual.
From Safetv headquarters in South Rambert Gardens, this is Safetv Headline News with Rihanna Ahmed.
Headline News is now being streamed live on our YouTube channel. Join us. Those forensic audits in the minds of many were expected to see throngs of persons, more so persons from the previous administration, being charged for their malfeasances. But this has not been the case. The public has been getting uneasy, and President Granger is now explaining why. Here's Kingsley Bryan with the details.
The change in government saw the Guyanese public forming the perception that the audits, when completed, would be instrumental in prosecuting persons who served in the previous administration. The general perception encompassed those who served in the cabinet. This perception, however, has now left the public wondering why this has not been actualized, especially when the speculations were so high. But President Granger is assuring this was never the intent of the audits. He explained persons have been castigated for these misconceived ideas.
Some malpractice has been discovered. It has not always been sufficient to justify court trials. Some people have been asked to demit office. Some people have not had their contracts renewed.
While this may be the case, a major attention grabber was former Public Service Minister Jennifer Westford and her assistant, who were brought before the courts for fraud. President Granger said that during their investigations, while malpractices were uncovered, not all of them required the attention of the courts, since tricky maneuvers were the order of the day.
We are still, as we speak, uncovering situations and circumstances in which the rules were perhaps bent, not necessarily in a criminal way, but in a way which perhaps exploited loopholes in the administration.
All of those ordered reports have not been completed. But the ones that have been handed over, Rihanna, contained gross disrespect in most parts for the callous use of taxpayers' dollars by the previous regime. This may be a reason why the Guyanese people are expecting more action on the part of the Granger administration to provide them with some evidence that justice is being served.
Now for a disturbing story. A Maikoni East Coast MR teenager is now in a critical condition at a city hospital after delivering her father's child. Reports reaching this newscast suggest that the 17-year-old, who was 28 weeks pregnant, had to have been rushed to the hospital after she began experiencing severe stomach pains. The young lady, who was scheduled to sit the C-Sec examinations later this month, has reportedly suffered a ruptured artery because of the tension of the pregnancy. Following a cesarean section, the teenager was listed as brain dead and remains in the intensive care unit of the Georgetown Public Hospital. Officials of the Child Care and Protection Agency have confirmed that an investigation has been launched into the teen's pregnancy, and attempts are being made to locate the father, who may likely be charged for engaging in incest as well as rape and child molestation. Those teenagers accused of murdering retired Professor Perry Mars were brought before the Chief Magistrate this morning. Kingsley Bryan has the details.
The 5 teenagers accused of killing Professor Mars made an initial appearance before Chief Magistrate Anne McLennan. They were charged with murder for the heinous crime. The youths all entered with their heads covered while under a heavy police guard. There was a huge crowd gathered outside the courts, and family members of the teens were very emotional as they made their entry. The matter was held in camera, but it revealed that the teenagers were not required to plead to the charge which was laid indictably. One of the females was charged as a juvenile, while the others were all charged as adults. Their next appearance will be on June 14. The news rocked Guyana last week after the professor's lifeless body was found by his wife. Investigations revealed that the man was killed after inviting a teen girl over to his home. She later contacted her boyfriend, who came with friends, and the brutal murder was the final act before carting off with items from his home.
Thank you, Kingsley. I sincerely hope the authorities will make available counseling services that can afford them the opportunity for mental reform. We cannot write off our youth. Coming up on Headline News after the break, pastor returns to Ghana to bring help and hope to the homeless. In relation to the killing of Sash Saw, Mr. Rohi says, let the chips fall wherever they would.
I'll say, will you marry me? I swear that I will mean it. I say, will you marry me? Sing it.
Jean-Louis Styles, simply different.
With a distinctive flavor, Umda Palka ghee is made from 100% pure vegetable oil. This Palka ghee is a delight when preparing sweetmeats and other dishes for healthy cooking with a rich buttery taste and aroma. It is used for religious purposes and is a principal fuel for burning. Umda Palka ghee is light, pure, with a real ghee texture.
This place is really hot. What's wrong with your AC?
It's not working.
Well, we wouldn't be able to continue this meeting anymore because this place is extremely hot.
Wait, please don't go.
Here's a company you can call to get your AC fixed. Action Cool.
Honey, what's for dinner? I had a hard day.
I'm sorry you had a hard day, but guess what, babes? I didn't cook today because the stove is not working.
Having trouble at home or at the office? Then call the professionals at Action Cool. Our fully trained technical team have the skills and experience in repairs of all air-conditioned units, refrigerators, gas stoves, washing machines, and a whole lot more. For further information, visit us at 86 Hill and Prince.
Sometimes there's just too much information to keep up with when you're pregnant. What you should and should not eat, what kind of exercise is right for you, how to handle mood changes, even how to determine when it's time for delivery.
Don't let your pregnancy be a burden. Watch The Baby Story on Safetv Channel 2 every weekday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Now you can know all you need to know from conception to delivery when you watch The Baby Story on Safetv Channel 2.
Last Thursday, Pastor Gordon C. Lashley of He Is the Way Ministries took to the streets of downtown Georgetown in order to help the homeless. On this day, he was accompanied by another evangelist, Jackie Lamaison. She is a social activist who focuses mainly on youth outreach programs and social activities which help to improve the lives of those in need. Lashley is a Guyanese who spent 39 years abroad as a pastor of a congregation in Atlanta, Georgia. After spending nearly 4 decades abroad, he has returned home to focus his ministry on the homeless and less fortunate of Guyana. While Pastor Lashley has recently started his work here, his commitment to helping Guyanese began even before his return home.
Years ago, Pastor Lashley had been sending clothing and so forth. Were able to give 5 boxes of clothes to the flooded victims in Buxton.
According to Lashley, meeting people's needs is one of the best ways to minister to them. His ministry goes beyond merely feeding the homeless. He also attempts to improve their lives as a whole.
To feed God's people, lead lost souls to Jesus. That's it, basically. So I'm here trying to see if you could get housing arrangements to house them, clothe them, and feed them.
Jackie Lamaison states that she has been working on the behalf of her community for many years and also has ideas to help the homeless of Georgetown.
I would like to see things happen for these people out here. Mental therapists, they could come out and able to treat them, find place to have them so that they will be comfortable. Because most of them are not really mad as people are saying. They need just a place, people care. They need somebody to be caring for them.
Rihanna, Pastor Lashley has stated that he is on a mission to help the homeless of Georgetown. He intends to pursue this mission with a passion and invites others with a similar vision to join him. Every week, he will feed the homeless as well as seek adequate housing for them. While he is happy to do it alone, all good Samaritans out there are invited in helping him to improve the capital city.
Thanks, George. We need many more compassionate and committed community-minded people working to alleviate the suffering of the less fortunate. Hats off to Pastor Gordon. Now, Mr. Rohi responds to the government's investigation of former PUP's executive Safetv Saw. Here's more. When the former agriculture minister was gunned down in his home by an armed gang on April 22, 2006, along with his two siblings and a security guard, many questions were raised. Who wanted the PUP member dead and why? Could his colleagues in the government or the opposition at that time have been responsible for his death?
We welcome that. They're the government now, they're free to have or to open any investigation or to set up any board of inquiry or to set up any commission of inquiry, investigate any matter that was of concern to them when they were in the opposition.
General Secretary of the PUP Civic, Clement Rohi, gave his opinion on the recent announcement by President David Granger that an inquiry will be held into the assassination of the late Minister Sash Saw.
They may come with the thing saying that, well, we didn't do it. Well, we didn't do a lot of things.
Rohi maintains that he has no knowledge of why this killing, which shocked all of Guyana, was not investigated. Bar Jagdeo was at that time the country's president and the commander-in-chief of the armed forces.
Let them carry on with their investigation. They have the authority to do so now, and let the chips fall.
It was before midnight on April 22, 2006, when Minister Saw's LBI home was stormed by an armed gang which slaughtered anyone in their path. Those who died with the minister that night were his sister Pulmati Prasad, brother Rajpat Rai Saw, and security guard Curtis Robertson. Rohi, who was Home Affairs Minister at that time, told reporters only last year that the police did have the names of persons who may have killed Sash Saw. The names of the possible killers came after the death of Fineman Rollins, who was at the time the country's most wanted man. However, there were no arrests, and when questioned further, Rohi said that these persons may have all been killed by now.
It depends on if everybody was killed. It depends on if all those who were involved in the massacre were killed or were dead or died subsequently. I don't know.
Today is World Telecommunication and Information Society Day. George Gonzalez has the details.
Today is World Telecommunication and Information Society Day. It marks the establishment of the International Telecommunication Union on May 17, 1865. This year's theme is Information and Communications Technology, Entrepreneurship for Social Impact. The intention of this date is to celebrate the impact that telecommunication technology has had on the world. The most obvious impact is the proliferation of mobile phones, more specifically, smartphones. As smartphone technology increases in its sophistication, it is expected that mobile phone applications, also known as apps, will have a greater impact on the world as a whole. Guyana is a newcomer to the app industry. Despite this fact, a simple phone search will reveal dozens of apps made by Guyanese, for Guyanese, and beyond. In line with this year's theme of entrepreneurship for social impact, it is hoped that Guyanese will begin to create even more innovative and profitable apps in the coming years.
Junior Minister within the Natural Resources Ministry, Simona Brooms, is adding clarity to the issues surrounding the conflict of interest emerging from her involvement in the mining industry. Kingsley Bryan has more.
The issue gained currency after Minister Brooms was transferred to the Natural Resources Ministry. The argument is that with the minister having strong connections in the mining industry and even having claims of her own, or involvement would constitute a major conflict of interest. Minister Broom said the brouhaha is deliberate and it was expected. She is now adding clarity to the issue.
I have done nothing wrong. I've said it, and you would have read about it in the Kaiju newspapers. I have simply all my life, 28 years as a minor, with my family. At this time, humbling myself to serve the Guyanese people.
There were reports in the media that the minister had transferred mining permits to her daughter, and this added fire to claims of there being a conflict of interest resulting from her transferal. Minister Broom says this is not the case.
I want to correct the persons who don't understand mining and would make wild statements by saying that transfer of mining permit to my daughter. That is incorrect. Mining permit speaks of land. All I have done is transfer a dredge that was in existence for decades. Not now. It is not a new operation or anything at all. So first I want to clarify that.
Minister Broom said that has to be understood. She stressed that at no point would she be directly or indirectly responsible for determining who gets a permit or not. And for this, she is baffled.
Neither I am the person directly or anything of such deals with approval for operation, permission to mine. The system is clear. Somebody has a dredge and they're going to work on somebody's property. Both parties have to write the commission asking for permission.
Minister Broom stated that the country has set laws with an established process. She also stated that while her children are being implicated, they had no other route to go through but the right one, since she always taught them to be law-abiding citizens. Rihanna.
Last evening, this newscast carried a story regarding the appointment of Anthony Vera as Director of Field Operations to the Ghana Sugar Corporation, Gaisuco. Today, Gaisuco has announced that this is not the case. Still ahead, our regional and international news.
Women's fashion trends change every day. That's why John Lewis Styles makes it their duty to source items directly from the manufacturing brand, offering you more choices and better prices. Women love to look great, whether it's for work or play. From clothing, shoes, accessories, to handbags, watches, fragrances. Let's make you feel like the only girl in the world. John Lewis Styles. Simply different.
Cause I owe it to me. Baby, all the men stand against the wall. They're so fine, they're so tall. And I wish they would come home with me. Baby, can you feel it?
Basketball fans, get ready for the invasion of the mighty DC Jammers of the US of A. Yes, they are coming to challenge the reigning top 4 basketball clubs in Guyana. The Goodwill Tour begins on Saturday, May 21st, when the Jammers battle the Ravens. On Sunday, May 22nd, they take on the Raiders from Linden. The action continues on Tuesday, May 24, when they match up with the Pacesetters. Then come Friday, May 27th, the DC Jammers takes on MVP Stanton Rose and his champion club, the Bounty Colts. All games starts at 18:30 hours at the Cliff Anderson Sports Hall. Supporting games will feature Youth Basketball Guyana. Tickets cost $1,000. Children under 12 absolutely free. Chow Power will be in the house with lots of giveaways. Don't you dare miss the excitement. It's a Jubilee celebration. Basketball is back, sponsored by Mackinson.
This place is really hot. What's wrong with your AC?
It's not working.
Well, we wouldn't be able to continue this meeting anymore because this place is extremely hot.
Wait, please don't go.
Here's a company you can call to get your AC fixed. Action Cool.
Honey, what's for dinner? I had a hard day.
I'm sorry you had a hard day, but guess what, babes? I didn't cook today because the stove is not working.
Having trouble at home or at the office? Then call the professionals at Action Cool. Our fully trained technical team have the skills and experience in repairs of all air-conditioned units, refrigerators, gas stoves, washing machines, and a whole lot more. For further information, visit us at 86 Hill and Princess Street, Mandela Avenue, Georgetown, or call us on telephone number 225-7867.
In news from the region now, in St. Lucia, the Royal St. Lucia Police Force is reporting a 16% decrease in crime for the first quarter of this year. The number of solved cases also declined slightly, as did the number of persons arrested for drug offenses. Don Nicholas has more.
There were 5,200 reports for the same period last year, as opposed to 4,344 this year, a detection rate of 54% for both periods. Sex offenses were on the decline for the period January to March 2016. There were 22 rape cases, 3 in the south of the island, which according to the police have all been solved, and 19 in the north, 7 of which have been solved. Authorities are now awaiting sample analysis results for the other 12. Firearm, property, and drug offenses all show decreases.
We saw a slight decrease in our solve rate this year, so far 32% as compared to the same period last year of 34%. Drug offenses, there was also a decrease recorded with 39 so far for the year, with 47 detected as compared to last year, same period, 53 reported and 49 detected. So generally there was a decrease in 16%, like I said, when compared to the same period last year.
There were 10 homicides for the year. 4 have been solved. 1 man is in police custody for the March 23rd incident in Vieux Fort, where 1 man was killed while with a female companion on the beach. Police say the assailant's partner in crime is now in prison in St. Vincent. He will be brought to St. Lucia to face charges as soon as his prison sentence in the neighboring country has ended.
We have been able to reach a conclusion, and when I say reach a conclusion, to make an arrest and prefer charges in 2 of those incidents, the one on the 24th of March and the one on the 6th of April, where we have 1 man in custody who has been charged for 3 counts of robbery, 2 counts of kidnapping, and 1 count of indecent assault in relation to the incident with the gentleman and his female companion on the 24th of March. In relation to the incident on the 6th of April, we have that same person who has been arrested and charged for 1 count of robbery, 1 count of kidnapping, and 1 count of attempted stealing.
In April, 15 persons were sentenced for various offenses. For the DBS News World, I'm Don Nicholas.
And internationally, live streaming live events has become a commonplace occurrence. But 1 man in Florida live streamed a very unusual event in his life. This event was the confrontation with police. ABC News has more.
Out of that dangerous standoff live streamed on social media, a suspect locked himself in his house as viewers and police watched the whole thing unfold online. ABC's Lindsay Janis here with more. Good morning, Lindsay.
Good morning, George. Shots were fired during the dramatic standoff, and it could have ended in tragedy. But thanks to that live stream, police were able to gain the upper hand.
Hello? The whole world will see me die today.
You're watching a police standoff from an unusual angle. Inside the home where 30-year-old Adam Mayo had barricaded himself, live streaming his confrontation with police on Facebook.
They want me to go talk to a psychiatrist so bad. You see crazy? Do I look crazy?
Tampa police were attempting to apprehend Mayo for a mental health evaluation last week when he grabbed a gun and his camera phone. Mayo urging Facebook followers to call 911 after police lobbed tear gas through a window.
I know there's 10 people watching this, so call 911 and say, officer, what the is wrong with you?
But police are watching the live stream too.
We knew that he had a weapon, and he was addressing us pretty directly.
As a SWAT team moves in, Mayo opens fire.
That's right. I shot 2 shots.
After being overcome by the tear gas, the 4-hour standoff ends peacefully.
You're on live. Sorry.
Mayo apologizing as he turns himself into police outside his home.
And that's Safetv 2 headline news for this Tuesday evening. As we take our leave, we invite you to find Safetv 2 headline news on Facebook and YouTube. You can also tune in tomorrow morning at 6:30 for a rebroadcast and on Wednesday evening at 7 o'clock for more news. For now, I'm Rihanna Ahmad, signing out from your newscast.